I had an interesting question with a friend who worked at Valiant and has kind of moved on to other publishers now around the idea of free and why free as a concept for comics doesn't really work. And it was an interesting conversation. I mean, Valiant continues to do free books, and I think there's some sour grapes there. But does free fail in the marketplace when it comes to comics? Why do people think that? And is there truth to it? Hey everybody, this is Perch. Yeah, marketing is a weird topic in comics because it feels like there's a real lack of understanding of kind of some core marketing principles. Knowing your audience, what's free, what's not, how to, set market pricing. What does product marketing look like? It feels like that's this forgotten element of comics, and I'm always scratching my head around kind of the lack of solid marketing, especially from Marvel, who has Disney behind it, and Disney is like the goat of marketing. I mean, they're they are legendary in terms of being able to market a product, put something out there, squeeze every possible dollar from Stone. I mean, lots of people complain about lots of things with Disney, but you cannot argue that they are maniacal about finding every licensing dollar they possibly can and wringing its neck until it's until it submits. It's strange to me that that seems to be this Achilles heel of comic book companies. And so this came up. I'm talking to a former, I think, assistant editor over at Valiant. I don't know if he made editor. Anyway, and they're talking about how, I mentioned that hey, they'd watched the video that I did about the fact that during this virus, that what DC should do is just offer metal for death metal for free as digital. Just offer it free. Maybe offer it black and white, uncolored for free, and use it as a way to really slam a bunch of readers back into the system. And that you can argue with that. It's a crazy theory. I grant you. It's a crazy idea. There's a million, probably dollar wise, literally reasons why DC wouldn't want to do that. Why it might not be the best plan. But all the same, I wanted to push this out because I do believe that some kind of dramatic marketing efforts need to take place for comics to get people back engaged, to get the addiction flowing in, and so on. And the pushback I got was that free never works for comics. That even free comic day, there's lots of evidence say that people don't actually start reading from free comics day. That it tends to not bring in new readers, brings in people who go and get a free comic book once a year, but they don't actually start buying comics. That digital free offers as kind of entry teasers for comics has been done before, but never successfully, and that it's just not the way to go. We've heard that. I've heard that many times, and then most recently just yesterday. So, uh, why is that? Well, first off, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that free will work just fine for comics, but you have to know, what is it you're trying to do with free? Are you trying to get new readers? Are you trying to bring marketing and eyeballs to a new title or character? What's the result you're trying to get off of free? And I think all good marketing starts with that question of, okay, we're going to run a campaign of some kind. What is the point of it? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get new readers? Are we trying to shore up our base? Are we trying to get existing people who are reading comic books to read a different kind of comic book? Are we trying to, you know, bump attention for the second issue, which won't be free? What is the goal here? Are we getting just basic brand awareness? Or are we actually trying to get some kind of profit off of it? And when I start asking those questions, people's eyes glaze over and they're like, what do you mean? I'm free. I'm talking about free. And I'm like, okay. Um, but marketing, it's important that you know the answers to those basic questions, because if you don't, then you're just running a campaign for, no good reason. And it's probably not going to do any good whatsoever. If you don't know what result you're trying to get to, then, you shouldn't start, because otherwise, you're wasting your time. So a good example of this is AMC and Marvel teamed up at the Black Panther movie to promote comics, to promote the Black Panther comic. So what they did is they took the number one issue of Black Panther number one by Ta-Nehisi Coates, his first issue, not after the relaunch when he went to space, but the first issue, and they gave a copy out to everyone. They didn't say, do you want a comic book? Although I guess you could have just declined when they handed it to you, but they basically said, here's your comic. And that was not an effective system. Most of the comics were left on the floor. And in addition, it was unclear what Marvel was trying to do. Remind people that there were comics, okay, but there was nothing in the comic book that said you can find this in your local comic shop. Here's a website where you can go to find that comic shop. There was nothing about that. It was just here's a comic, and so that okay, so fail there. That's not successful. If you don't give people a place to go, then you're just handing them some paper with no context, and they don't really get anything out of it. Okay, so that's problem number one. Number two is the movie. The Black Panther movie bore zero resemblance to the comic book that they were handing out. In this case, Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther. You had to really squint and close your eyes to get the movie story out of that comic. Now, I'm not saying, by the way, whether Ta-Nehisi Coates had a good comic or bad comic. But I'm saying it was a different comic. You had people coming in to watch the newest kind of Disney blockbuster, new character that not a lot of people knew about going in, and high action, some world building with Wakanda. At least the Ta-Nehisi Coates had some world building. I'll give it that. But it didn't feel at all like the comic. The previous Black Panther books by Priest, or even what Brian Edward Hill did with Killmonger, that book came out after the fact, was far, far more relevant, I think, to that movie than the comic they actually gave out for free. So there's problem number two. So basically, you're giving something out to people you don't even know the real audience. The result you're driving toward is awareness of Black Panther. Well, people are already aware. They've gone to see the movie. They paid for a movie ticket. They've watched the trailers, and they've seen the ads for this movie. They're aware on that level what Black Panther is, and so you're giving them a comic. No drive to any call to action. No, here's where you can buy books. In fact, it was the weirdest. There's an ad on the back of it that said, "Did you like this comic of Black Panther? You can buy more." That was it. Like, you can buy more where? Amazon, the gas station, comic book shops, the pet store. What are we doing here? There was no information. And so I say it was because it was given away for free, and I think that Marvel and DC should be doing a lot more free right now. They should be doing things, and with a few very minor adjustments, that Black Panther comic that Disney handed out in the theaters would have been excellent. They had people coming in, they had people excited for a comic book movie. You hand them a comic book. Page number one should say, here's a website you can go to right now of where you can get more comics like this one. You should go get those comics. Nope, nothing like that. That's a missed opportunity, a gigantic missed opportunity. So I think free can work just fine for comics. In fact, I'm positive it can, because free works for games, movies, every other piece of entertainment under the sun. Free definitely can work, but you have to have a goal. You have to have some purpose to the free that you're offering. And if you don't, then yeah, you're just blowing marketing dollars, and that's not going to be of any value whatsoever. So anyway, there you go. What do you think of free? Does free work on you as a consumer? Is there a place where free doesn't work, and why? I'd like to know your opinions in the comments below. Like, subscribe, if you don't mind. Recommend to a friend is even more appreciated. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.